สวัสดีครับ
เพื่อนๆครับเราทุกคนชอบขับรถกันใช่ไหมครับแต่เดี๋ยวนี้ค่าน้ำมันแพงขึ้นทุกวันเลย
That's why I'm here today with Skip, Thailand's first Tesla Model Y owner, to learn a little bit more about his experience owning an EV in Thailand. Click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. We're here in Chiang Mai at a gas station, and joining me today is Skip. Skip, what should the audience know about you?
Well, I moved here back from the US after spending 30 years there, and I own a Tesla Model Y, the very first Model Y in Thailand actually. So, and I've had it for a year and 4 months, and it's been great.
So Skip is Thailand's first Model Y owner. We're here in a gas station because the world is transitioning from ICE to EVs. And can you tell us a little bit more about this gas station? What is PTT?
PTT is actually one of the local gas stations in Thailand, and it's very popular among the Thai people. And recently, they've really expanded the charging capabilities. As you'll see right here, they have the charging stalls all over the countries. I've traveled throughout Thailand to the northern part of Thailand here in Chiang Mai, as well as all the way to the southern part of Thailand.
So you can see in gas stations now in Thailand, you actually don't just see ICE, I won't say recharging, I'm so used to the word refueling, but you can see they are now building new EV charging stations. Join us for a walk as we head down there. I think one of the great things about gas stations in Thailand is that it's almost like a US concept where they're like destinations, people stop. We just had drinks in the Cafe Amazon, totally not linked to the Amazon in the US. So there's actually quite a lot of these gas stations spread across the country.
Yes.
Great for road trips here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Cafe Amazon here is very popular. I'm sure part of the reason that they build the stations here because people, have to charge and they can drink some coffee as well.
So that's a hint for Teslas. You open your supercharger network and stations here in Thailand. But we have some cafes, maybe cafe supercharger.
Exactly.
So this one over here is a new EV charging station that's being built. It is not yet operational, but this is one of the many EV charging stations in Chiang Mai. I was surprised when I looked at Google Maps. I was looking at a number of EV charging stations. I was expecting maybe 3, 4, but I think there's close to more than a dozen EV charging stations here. So you've started your journey from ICE to hybrids to EVs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So I started off with my first fuel-efficient car was a Prius, and then I moved on to a Nissan Leaf, and then from the Nissan Leaf I jumped directly to the Model S, and this was back in 2013. Back then they had the Model S 60, and then I upgraded to Model S 70, and then Model 3 came out, I bought the Model 3, and then Model Y afterwards.
Skip has been a Tesla owner for now 10 years, a decade. He's got every model except for the Model X.
Right.
And of course the original Roadster.
Right.
Maybe one day Cybertruck.
I'm hoping. I'm waiting for that.
What got you to get your first Tesla all those years back?
That's a tough question, but like I said, I went from a Prius to a Nissan Leaf, so I was already into fuel-efficient car, always looking for ways to save the environment and save some money along the way as well. And I was really impressed when the Model S came out, and I decided to dive right into it, and I've been really happy ever since. Never go back.
Early pioneer, Tesla is very popular, well-known, quite mature in the US. It's got close to 70% of all EVs sold in the country. What's the biggest difference between owning a Tesla in the US compared to Thailand?
I think in the US, I was able to rely on the supercharging network. Here, I have to deal with these type of chargers where you once you park the car, you have to open up the app, and sometimes if you don't reserve the charging station, you can't use it until someone else is done charging. So I'm really waiting for superchargers to be available, and we can charge through the supercharging network. I think that's going to make life a lot easier as well, and it will really open up people's eyes in Thailand and be able to see the differences, the main differences between the normal charging station versus the Tesla superchargers.
Tesla superchargers are one of the biggest selling points of owning a Tesla. They are exclusive to Tesla owners in many markets, but Tesla will eventually open it up to other EVs because Tesla's mission is to accelerate the world's transition, not just Tesla's transition to sustainable energy. And coming from the US, of course, you were using the Tesla cables, connectors,
Right.
which are different from the common standards we have in the rest of the world. So you take a look at these charging cables down here. You can see these cables are a lot bigger, a lot thicker. These are big CCS, they're locked in right now because they're new. And these are the AC Type 2. But you can see that all these cables are much bigger than the US Tesla standard. Recently, Tesla also decided to call it the North America standard because they want the whole region to adopt it, not just Teslas. We're coming from a very mature market owning Teslas to a place like Thailand. I imagine you probably got a lot of questions from people. Is it really okay to own an EV here? How has your experience been?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest conception that people have in Thailand is that they have to, spend money to install these chargers at home, or they're worried, would I have enough charge to go distance, But for me, myself, I don't have a charging station at home. I just plug it in to a normal wall outlet, and I'm able to be fully charged the next day without having to go and, smell this nasty stuff at the gas station. So it's been convenient for me, and I really don't need to install anything at home. So that's been a very pleasant experience.
So what I'm hearing is if you have a landed property or a condo where you can install an EV charger, it's even more convenient than ICE because you don't even need to go to another destination.
But yeah, to add to that, so I believe that most of the condos right now in Bangkok, at least, are required to install at least minimum of 2 charging stations. So I know my condo in Bangkok has 2 stations at least.
That's very good to hear because in many countries around the world, EV owners living in condos have a pain point getting approval to install EV charging points, even in the US. So it's good to hear that that's happening.
Yep.
There are some markets like the UK where they now mandate that every new building must have EV charging capability. But of course, for us, we want to take road trips as well with EV. Some people say that's been the Achilles heel of owning an EV. You can't take long road trips. You don't have like a 1,000-kilometer range like a Prius, for instance. So the public charging network becomes important for road trips.
Yep.
Even without the Tesla supercharger network, which will come next month in Thailand. I heard that you've been driving down south of the border as well, close to 40,000 kilometers plugged in since owning a Model Y. How's the road trip experience been?
It's been great. You drive for 3 hours or so. I can always find these charging stations along the way. I've had no issues. You rest for half an hour, grab something to drink, get something to eat, go on with your trip. And like I said, yeah, I've had no issues at all. And I've done those long trips multiple times. So especially right here in Chiang Mai, I've driven already 4 or 5 times between Chiang Mai and Bangkok. I've gone down all the way to the southern part of Thailand, also multiple times, no issues. So it's been great. And I really hope that your viewers, at least in Thailand, will realize that, that it's, you can always go anywhere you want to go in Thailand with an EV. That's not going to be an issue. You just need to do a little bit of planning. As long as you have the app, it will show you all of the locations where your chargers will be.
What's one app you'd recommend?
PlugShare. PlugShare actually has all of the charging station, but if you're gonna use one of these charging stations, you do have to install their app to be able to reserve and pay for the charge.
The public charging network in Thailand is one of the best in Southeast Asia after Singapore. I believe there are more than 2,000 public EV chargers and charge points in the country, and it's growing rapidly. Even as recently as a few years ago, EVs were considered a unicorn. In percentage adoption, it's still low, but I hear that it's growing quickly. You're part of the local EV community as well. How has been the vibe, the development, especially with Tesla now officially launching in Thailand?
The vibe has been great. People are really excited They're really, they're really looking forward to more Tesla coming into the country. People are really active in Facebook. People are active in Line. They're constantly sharing ideas, sharing tips and tricks and whatnot. And even people who don't currently have a Tesla, they're also asking a lot of questions. But unfortunately, there are a lot of misconceptions out there as well, which is, I guess expected. And then I'm also out there trying to put down those misconceptions as well, trying to help and educate people.
What would you say is the biggest myth or misconception about EVs in Thailand right now?
I think the inability to travel long distances. I think that's the unfortunate thing. But I'm getting out there in Facebook, trying to share my thoughts and letting them know, hey, I've owned my Tesla for a number of years, and like I said, I've traveled throughout the country with no issues. But it's going to take time, and I think right now, not just Tesla, there are other brands that are coming to the country. People are purchasing more of EVs, sharing their experience with their family members, and hopefully, the EV community can grow bigger, as a whole.
That's right. Recently, just a few months ago, the first Thai EV to drive all the way north to Singapore was a BMW iX, followed very shortly, I think just 1-2 days later, by a Tesla Model X. Andy, who was on the channel a few months ago. The Model Y that you own is a great road trip vehicle, especially for families.
Yep.
What's been your biggest joy owning a Tesla?
The quietness of the car, I would say that's a joy. Also the speed, obviously. The moment that you press the accelerator, it goes, right? You don't get that in a gas car. In a gas car, you press, it takes a millisecond before it actually goes, and it's very responsive, and not having to stop at a gas station to fuel up, and saving a lot of money as well. Because when I travel long distance, and I always try to compare it to a regular gas car, it's about a third cheaper than a normal gas car. So you can really save a lot of money for those who want to save money as well.
So 1/3 cheaper even here in Thailand.
Definitely.
That's huge. We do know that Thailand does currently have a diesel subsidy, because diesel is still very important, especially for many farmers using the vehicles for work. But you look at gas versus electricity, huge savings. What's your biggest pain point owning a Tesla?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. Right now, I think the only pain point would be the glass roof. Being in Thailand, I wouldn't say it's that unbearable, but when you drive long distance, it is a little bit warm, I would say, not hot, because you can always crank up the AC, but you could feel it. I get a lot tanner ever since I got back from the US, but I don't mind. So
We've heard some owners, especially in warmer climates, talk about the glass roof. So some people tint it, some people buy the extra shades to put on top as well.
right.
What's one tip you would share for our friends in Thailand who are considering their first EV?
I think if you reach out to us on Facebook or anyone actively online and ask us questions, we're here to help you. Owning an EV is not crazy. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not scary. Like I said earlier, I'm able to travel 40,000 kilometers in just a little over than a year. You can go anywhere you want to go. There are charging stations all over the places. You'll be able to go wherever you want to go. You can wake up every morning with the full tank of electricity, and you can go to your work. I used to live in a place with no charging station, and I just plug it into my outlet, and I was able to live with that for a long time.
Thank you, Skip, for sharing your experience as a Tesla owner in Thailand. Right now, in places like this, you just see one big charger, 2 to 3 charge ports, and of course, look behind us, so many ICE cars still, some hybrids there. In a few years' time, maybe this will flip. Maybe all of that behind will be EV chargers. You'll just have one station there for ICE cars.
In 5 years, I think there's going to be a huge flip to EVs because there's a lot of countries with regulations mandating right the switch to EV.
That's right.
Thailand might be a little slower, but I think that it's going to get there because I see a lot of excitement, and I people that I talk to, they're really excited to get EVs as well. I think it's just a matter of time.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement for EVs. Even the Thai government's giving in support. BYD is building their EV factory here in Thailand. The car industry is huge in the country. A lot of jobs rely on it. And the government and industry knows that the future of the industry for jobs, for employment, for talent, for economy relies on going from ICE to EVs. So let us know what you think in the comments below. I'm here in Chiang Mai for the next 4 days and would love to meet some of the Tesla or EV community. You don't have to be a Tesla owner. We just saw a MG ZS EV on our way here as well. We'd love to meet you, talk to you, learn from your experience to encourage others to embrace EVs. If you found this video useful, please click the like button. Hit subscribe to stay updated to more videos on EVs.